going on, 52 family? So before we get into this episode, we would like for you to like, follow, and subscribe to this podcast on whatever platform that you're listening to. And if you're on Spotify, you are actually the real winners, okay? That means you are watching. That means you're also in tune with any other polls or any other content that we have coming out. Spotify is the place to be. So if you're not on Spotify, if you're not tuning into us on Spotify, you're still loved, but you're missing out, okay? So please make sure you check us out there. Also follow us at 52 Dallas on Instagram. We want to thank y'all so much for your love and support. We really do appreciate it. Now, let's get into this episode.
You're listening to the 52 Podcast.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the 52 Podcast. I'm super excited. I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, God's kid, Hector.
Hey, bro, I literally just immigrated to this country.
Hector.
Like, the cartel just dropped me off, bro.
I like how you was like, Fiji, make sure to be respectful, calm down a little, calm down.
Hey, look, okay,
Man,
so.
we were talking about the cartel 5 seconds
No,
ago.
listen.
Hey, are we supposed to press the roadcaster on?
No, we were on straight to the computer.
I have so much anxiety right now.
We're good, bro.
Okay, praise God.
We're good.
Oh, not the horn?
That's what I was wondering. I was like, who's doing
Dang.
that?
Bro, somebody be tweaking, bro.
Bro, it's that same card. It's going to go on
Does
for a
it?
minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are in an apartment complex sponsored by Industrious, satanic company out here in Dallas, Texas. And we are surrounded by city lights and cars, so forgive us if we get distracted. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
I'm feeling good.
Lead
oh,
me.
yeah, I didn't introduce
Lead
my
me
guy
in this
either.
conversation.
I didn't introduce my guy as well. So, Ephesians, Campbell,
What it
a.k.a.
do,
Fiji.
52.
He's a firefighter.
I
He
am.
is EMT, bro.
David Goggins.
You seen some messed up stuff, bro.
Goggins kid.
Pray for that man
I
daily.
am not Goggins kid. That man's
He
insane.
said, I rebuke that.
Say it one more time. Oh, yeah, that's right. My fault. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are listening to this podcast and you are not on Spotify, I feel very sorry for you. If you are on Spotify, I love you very much to the end of time. I'm glad you are here. You are watching, not just listening. You are involved in our Q&As and our polls and everything, giving us feedback on what you like, what you don't like, and what you would love to see in the future. So if you are not on Spotify, I would encourage you to go ahead and get off Apple Podcasts and move over to where the GOATs reside. We love you guys. Thank you. And let's get into the episode.
What's
Hector.
happening? Are you trying to get the Spotify money?
Hey, bro.
Yes.
I'm trying to get all the money.
You're only doing, so y'all are, you're getting paid for, you're getting revenue off of the Spotify when they watch the video?
Yep.
Nice, dude.
Yep. So because it's, because Anchor got bought out by Spotify,
For $320 million.
$320 million. It's just more of an interactive space. Obviously, you guys over
We're
at
on
the
it.
basement use it, and y'all really like kill it with the video content. You make it. It's another YouTube, low key. Like,
No, look, we're blessed. The revenue on there is not far off from YouTube right now. I think every platform is different when it comes to the revenue. Right now, we're talking about YouTube and Spotify, but like on YouTube, for the Basement Podcast, per 1,000 views is $25. Most of the time, it's just $8 to $11. Is that not wild?
Yeah,
I
that's-
looked at
that's
that
crazy.
today. I'm like, $25 every 1,000 views.
Yeah, that's
You
wild.
can do the math. The Basement is financially blessed by God right now.
Yeah. And it's crazy because we had this conversation at you should be sponsored by this restaurant, by the way.
Arby's?
The Firehouse Gastro Park in Grand
Hey,
Prairie.
I've never been to Arby's. Have y'all been there?
Heck no.
Oh no!
What do you mean, heck no?
You
went
eat
to
at Arby's, you're gross.
You don't want the meats, bro?
Ah, that's so wild.
Pause. No, I went to Arby's one time as a kid, and I never went back.
I've never been there, dude.
The
so
idea of cheese on roast beef just didn't sit well. with me.
It doesn't sound bad. But I interrupted. I'm sorry. We were talking at the restaurant that my wife works at.
Yes, that your wife works at, and you also help her out whenever you can, behind the bar.
Oh yeah, I love serving in hospitality. My life is two things. I'm in the online space and I'm creating content for myself, and I'm creating content for people that's reaching millions of people. And I will go help my wife and bartend for 12 hours like I did this past Friday night. Because I love it. I want to own a restaurant one day.
Yeah.
So I'm like legit in the game, even though on the online space side, I've technically made it as a 25-year-old kid.
If you could start your restaurant today, what would it be?
Man, the restaurant side, I still haven't, I feel like the Holy Spirit hasn't fully unpacked for me. But what I do know is we do want to be in the bar space.
Okay.
Which obviously means alcohol. And we serve cocktails and mocktails. But I've been in the game with my wife now for over 2 years, and it is my favorite way to serve somebody.
Yeah.
I love it. It's one of my, it's almost as equal as how much I love producing content for somebody. Those two loves are almost identical.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd want a speakeasy bar first.
Okay.
I'd love to have a coffee shop in the morning, speakeasy, cocktail, mixology spot at night. There's a spot in Oak Cliff called Zaman Cafe. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
It's that vibe. So
Okay.
Zaman Cafe in the morning is a gorgeous coffee shop, all like Eastern Mexican inspired.
Yep.
And then at night you can go hang out in the backside and go have a drink. It's
drink.
cool,
Yeah.
dude.
It's super dope. There's another spot like that over in east of downtown. It's kind of speakeasy. It's on the outside. It looks like a clothing store, but when you go in, it's just like a full on bar. It's super.
What's
dope.
it called?
I can't remember the name. It's a Spanish name. You know, I ain't even gonna try.
Immigrant name.
Yeah, something like that. But you were saying how your love for creating content. So whenever did it start when you were younger, or is it something that you kind of grew into as you got older?
Hello, sir. How are you? You hopping on the podcast?
We're talking about the GOAT here in his journey.
Janitor life, you know.
Now this man is the creative of all creatives. Yeah. All right, we talked. We chopped it up, bro. You let me know.
And I see your hoodie. That's very nice. God's kid right there.
Well, question: why do you say that all the time, God's
God's kids?
Yeah, that's kind of like your tagline.
It's my favorite phrase
That's
to
going to
use.
be the name of this episode.
I've only used that phrase now for the latter like half of 6 months. My two favorite phrases are "Please don't kill yourself" and so intense, I know. "Please don't kill yourself" and "God's kids."
You actually have that tattoo.
I have "Please don't kill yourself" tatted on me.
Yeah.
God's kids I'm gonna get next. I just don't know when or where. But no, that's my favorite phrase. It's just a reminder to people. Dude, one time I was at church and I went up to the janitor and I told him, "Man, you're just God's kid." Most of the time people think I'm being like condescending or a douchebag.
Yeah.
You're like, why is it, what does that even mean? It means nothing.
Yeah.
But I really mean it like you are literally God's kid. You are loved, valued, gorgeous, beautiful, the whole thing. I went up to this janitor and he's younger. And I was like, "You're just God's kid, bro." He starts like shedding a tear. And he's like, "Thank you, bro." And then I leave. After service, he comes up to me. He's like, "I really needed to hear that today." Gave me no context. He's just like, "I really needed to hear that reminder."
Yeah.
So it's just my phrase. I like telling people who they are. That's it.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah, bro.
That's
And
crazy.
how old are you?
25.
You're 25?
I'm 25.
What?
I'm serious.
What?
I did
I'm
not see
serious. How
25
old are y'all? Are y'all old?
Bro, I'm 30, dude.
I'm 24.
God's kid.
Literally.
Once you cross into the 30s, you are no longer God's kid. You're God's elder.
God's associate.
You started off doing creative stuff in high school?
Yeah, bro. I've been doing creative stuff with the video camera since I think I was a sophomore or freshman in high school. My buddy had a crappy old JVC camera, and then I had you might not remember them. They were called the flip camera. And you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
You press the button and the little USB port comes out.
Yep.
And it was real ghetto. It was so lame, but my dad bought it for me for Christmas. And we would just make dumb videos.
Yeah.
If you look up Casa Noodles on YouTube, Casa Noodles, how to get buff quick, I'm going to be there. I'm really skinny, and I have my emo haircut, and I'm teaching people how to get buff quick. It's just like a little skit video.
Yeah.
So I didn't know nothing about Vine or anything savvy. It was just already in us, and we were doing skits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's where it all started, and I became obsessed. Like, I could not be someone who didn't create.
Yeah.
So in high school, did you find it? Yeah. Did you find it? Pop up the screenshot.
I'm not doing you that dirty.
I'm not the editor.
I'm not doing you that dirty.
Yeah, you couldn't. you couldn't catch me not creating, bro.
Yeah.
I was so obsessed with just doing it because it was polar opposite of what I was supposed to do. I'm the Mexican kid in the hood. My parents crossed over the border for me to go to school and make good money and provide for my family.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to do all those things except go to school. So I'm like, I need to find a way to make money doing this. So I was always creating, knowing one day I would do it for a living.
Mm-hmm.
But I first started as a janitor. As many jokes as I've made about being a janitor, I was a janitor for 4 years at Gateway Church.
Hey, shout out Gateway.
I love Gateway.
Wow.
I was a janitor for 4 years, dude. For 1 month, I was just a janitor, and then 1 month later, one of the managers quit, and then my boss was like, "Hey, man, I need you to be the manager of the janitors." So that's what I did for the remainder of my years there, and then that was one of the best things that could have ever happened in my life because I was in charge of taking care of a team and taking care of a building. So I had to have like reverence and zeal to like, I have to take care of this building and its people so it's always ready for them. But content was always in my head.
Yeah.
I was always making vlogs. I have a YouTube channel with a bunch of private. I think I have over 200 privated vlogs. So I journeyed my whole life out of high school.
Yeah.
My janitor days, and then I did student ministry for 2 years after that. So I did 6 years at Gateway, and then I started my business and started doing all the freelance stuff.
Bro.
Yeah, bro.
Crazy. That's so obviously we'll get into all of the basement stuff.
Can you pass me my Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, 1000%.
You got better reach than me.
What
I still have a gut I'm working on. That's why I'm in the gym.
because you're running low, bro.
Thank you, Daddy.
I'll open it for you.
Like, you're literally a daddy. I'm not being weird.
Nah, I'm actually a father.
God's kid. God's elder.
So we'll get into like all the basement stuff and everything from there. But one thing that really stuck out to me about you, because I messaged you on Instagram, bro, and I was just like, "Hey, bro, I just love the work you do, bro." And going through your content, bro, the don't kill yourself, like that really is something that stuck with me because I know that's just something a lot of people deal with. You know, kind of give me the backstory on that and what led to that tattoo getting put on your back.
Oh my God, it's such a sad story. I was 11 years old, and I was introduced to YouTube at such a young age when YouTube was like barely becoming viral. Back then, it was just like cat videos and like memes.
Yeah.
That's literally what it was. And then, but on YouTube is how I discovered music.
Yeah.
And I discovered a lot of music that opened me to that lifestyle of like, of depression. So it wired me at a young age to think like, this is how I think now. So I'd listen to Slipknot and I would listen to Metallica. Most people love them, no big deal. I still love them, but all of their lyrics were like so sad and so much about suicide and hurt and harming yourself. So they idolized those things. So as an 11-year-old, it was this sounds so creepy. I'm sorry, but it was like attractive to me. So harming yourself and that emo lifestyle, that gothic lifestyle, it was like attractive. And then the friends I had at school, the few emo and gothic people in the hood, that's who were my friends. I was also friends with the thugs. I was a real good chameleon. I was friends with everybody. Yeah. But I always leaned towards like the emo kids. And it sounds like so silly, right? It's like, oh, just the kids with long hair. They look corny. They listen to Slipknot, whatever. But it affected my entire childhood into my marriage because I never dealt with that stuff. So, bro, like at 11 years old, I'd walk home from school and I would have a knife to my stomach day after day, not even like having a reason to want to kill myself, but it was the idolization of suicide.
Yeah.
So it's almost, it sounds like psychotic because it is psychotic. It's psycho to take your life. And all of that stuff was birthed at such a young age. So anytime there was a hardship in my life, the answer was kill yourself. So the fuel of that was all shame and guilt, and I mean little things. You lost the girl you wanted to be with, kill yourself. When I would see my parents, and they're together now, but when I would see my parents never kiss, never hold hands, they're probably going to get a divorce, and I'm the glue to them. Just take your life. So it was like all these things that followed me through my adolescence and then into my marriage. And life's perfect in my marriage, like from the outside. And life is good. Like I'm in ministry, I'm preaching, and this is after the 4 years of me being a janitor, this is now me being like 2 years into the student ministry. I'm preaching to 200 plus kids, and a genuine message, like from my heart. I'm genuinely speaking to them. I'm telling them that God loves them, that Christ died for them. I'm going to all of the local schools in Grand Prairie, and I was the chaplain for the football teams. I am not an athlete, by the way. I'm so unathletic. But God put me in the position to be their chaplain. So I'd go to like Lamar High School. I'd go to Grand Prairie High School, Adams Middle School, and I'd preach to all the athletics teams. And I really meant it. But when I'd go home and I got off of this dopamine rush, I was so depleted. My only answer was, just kill yourself. I'm like, why, God? Like, why is this following me? And then I think so that was like the birth of it. Where it got terrible is when I was 18 out of high school. I had been with somebody, and I won't name her, and it's all private, but I was with somebody that I had gotten pregnant, and she was so terrified out of her mind, she didn't know what to do, so she aborted the baby. And I was a part of that entire process. So I was a part of the process of getting her a pregnancy test. I was a part of the process of being with her for like a few weeks, of talking back and forth, trying to figure out what to do, taking her to the abortion clinic where I would see like hundreds of like young girls. And this is like a secret society. It's like I never knew this existed. It's in North Dallas, to the location we went. And it was like, oh, this isn't on the news. Like, this is a whole other planet I never knew of. All beautiful young girls who don't know what to do, but like, I have to abort the baby. I don't know what to do, right? There's no hatred towards the person I was with. I literally love them. My heart breaks for them that they felt like that was the only answer.
Yeah.
So literally, I love her so much.
Yeah.
Not romantically. I have love. Rachel, I love you. Literally love you. You're my wife.
There you go.
But like, my heart broke because she didn't know what to do, but I was still left with like the residue and all the shrapnel of that entire war.
Yeah.
Fought for that kid's life for an entire month, which felt like a century.
Mm-hmm.
And that baby was 14 weeks old.
Yeah.
That baby was formed. That baby had little fingers. That baby felt everything when they went through that surgery, which was like the vacuum surgery. Mm-hmm. So like they ripped that baby to shreds, basically.
Yeah.
So I remember that day when I was walking down the hallway of Gateway Church Grand Prairie, and I got the text that she went through with the surgery. She was just keeping me updated. And that's when I knew, I'm like, this is, now I literally want to die now.
Yeah.
And that was like, I finally have a legit reason. Back then it was just idolization of my mental health, idolization of suicide and depression, and not really even really having a reason, just making it my own God.
Yeah.
And then now I finally had one. So yeah, I had my first suicide attempt in my parents' house, and then and praise God, I'm still alive.
Yeah.
But that was the journey of the pain and the darkness that really put a massive fire into that dark world that I needed to work through.
Yeah.
Because that's all it was. It was just an indicator of, you need to address,
Yeah.
if you're willing to take your life, and you had an attempt at your parents' house in Oak Cliff, and you're 18, and you got your whole life ahead of you, there is some serious damage we need to address.
Yeah.
So that was like the whole journey of what led to like the beginning of healing.
Yeah.
So,
And how was that, as far as like, I mean, meeting your wife, getting married, and what was that process like? Were you open about that? Was it something that you kind of had to get better at as life, as life and time went on? Like, I can't imagine, like, because there has to be this thought that goes through your mind of like, man, I don't want to scare this person away, or I don't want to make this person think that, I'm crazy, and it's the love of your life, but it's a part of you that you took a long time to finally understand and explore and get a grasp on. And now it's like you feel this obligation to expose it to a level that's never been exposed.
oh my God, it was terrifying.
Yeah.
Being vulnerable and living a life of accountability is terrifying. living an integral life and being open, honest, and transparent with somebody that you care about, whether that's your partner or a friend, it is so scary because the thought is, if I say something that's going to scare them off, I'll never have them again.
Yeah.
So you kind of harbored it for a while.
Say again?
You kind of harbored it for a while.
No, I had to tell her everything up front. And I was just her friend. So I met Rachel at the church, and she had to know everything because I wanted her to find out from me versus someone else telling her, because I want her to hear from my perspective and not somebody else's.
Yeah.
So, I had to tell her everything. There's no way I could live a life where I live with a lie, because even if I withhold the truth, it's deception then.
Yep.
And I don't want to live in deception. So she had to know everything, and I was fairly surprised that she didn't run away. She did not run away.
Yeah.
Which most people have that fear, and if you find a good person, they're not going to run away from you. They might have questions.
Yeah.
But they're not going to run away from you.
Yeah.
Because they love you.
Yeah.
So,
bro, I know.
It's heavy.
And I know, Fiji, you dealt with this, dude.
Yeah.
Like me, I've gone through seasons of depression, anxiety, and not really understanding what I need to do on my end, because I know you get in this dark place of just trying to find a way out, and you become confused because, again, you don't know why you're having these thoughts, and there's a lack of acknowledgement and self-awareness to realize that I've put myself in dark atmospheres. And, bro, my mom used to tell me this all the time: be careful what you listen to, be careful what you watch.
Yeah.
Be careful, like all these different things. It's like, Mom, shut up, bro. Like, what are you talking about? And it's like, but as you get older, you realize these things that I am partaking in, these things that I am digesting, are completely affecting me spiritually. And then it just opens up from there to my emotions, to me physically. Like 2012, 16 people that I knew passed away in that 1 year. And I became numb to death. And one night I was in my dorm room blasting Drake, obviously. And Damari rolling her eyes.
Which song by Drake, though? That's
Bro, I don't even remember, bro. I don't even remember. All I know is I was in my dorm room blasting Drake.
Marvin's Room, that's
Nah,
it.
bro.
Marvin's Room on repeat.
Y'all think I was out here sipping at CF&I, bro? Absolutely.
this was
not.
at CF&I?
Yeah,
Sorry,
bro.
that's funny as heck.
I'm at bro. I was that kid at Bible college. I was rolling up the class, like the day after Nothing Was the Same came out, blasting it in my car.
God's kid.
Oh, I know. I was there.
Professors are like, Mr. Walker, what are you listening to? Oh, that's Drake, girl. That's Aubrey. You don't know about Aubrey? Easy.
That's
Come
Jimmy.
on now. But I knew that I was listening to Drake in my dorm room, and all of a sudden I felt like I had an out-of-body experience, and I had my first ever anxiety attack. Thought I was dying. And that sparked years of a genuine struggle with a fear of death and constantly living in fear and anxious and not knowing why. Not realizing why. It took me a long time to realize that in that season, I had been digesting so much secular music when I should have been seeking God, that I opened the door for the enemy to come in and just wreck my entire being.
I think for the longest time when I was going through it, I think I was listening to X's 17 album, like
First of all,
on repeat.
that's
Whenever,
the last person you need to be listening to.
But I'm talking about like that was like 18-year-old Fiji, freshman year of college.
Yeah,
He just dropped that album.
it's a fantastic album.
It's a great album. But I'm talking about like I'd go to sleep with that album playing. Like I'm talking about like
Yeah, that's yeah.
I can look back now and be like, okay, you probably should have been listening to Jocelyn Flores 24 times in one day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
But
good of an album as it is, that was a very, very dark album.
Were you just firefighting listening to that song?
I was just going. I wasn't even anywhere near being a firefighter then. I was just playing baseball, going to Mountain View.
You went to Mountain View?
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is an Oak Cliff podcast.
Bro,
Oh, yeah, 1000%.
I grew up at CF&I.
My heart is melting right now.
Yeah. That's like
We were so close quarters and we didn't know it.
What was your old number at your house?
Say again?
What's your old number? Your old like OG Dallas Oak Cliff number?
214.
214?
I grew. Well, do you know where
214,
where Sunset High School is?
Yeah.
I live 2 minutes. My parents' house is from 2 minutes from there.
From
I mean,
Sunset?
Yeah, bro.
Dang, bro.
Crazy.
I mean, I'm basic though. I grew up at CF&I, but like I grew up there my entire life basically until I left when I was like 19.
He saw Bishop Arts go through gentrification.
I saw all of Oak Cliff
They're
go through
building
gentrification.
a Target at Wynwood Plaza.
Really?
Good luck.
God's kids.
Yo, that's the last place you need to put a target.
That's amazing, bro.
That's gonna be ghetto.
My wife was so excited.
For that one?
She was like, "Oh my God, they're building a Target finally in Oak Cliff at
That's
Wynwood."
amazing, bro.
I said, "Where?" She said, "Wynwood." I said, "Yeah, we ain't going to that."
Yeah, we are not pulling up there.
I mean, don't go there, but it's amazing.
Yeah, it's great for the community.
Skip, pass, go. Don't collect $100. Just keep pushing.
Look,
keep
on
pushing.
y'all's on the music topic, I remember when I was 13, I was on YouTube again, and I found the song "Nothing Else Matters" by Metallica.
what a
Oh my God, I love that song. It was so good. I still love that song. But I went to the restroom, and my mom went and looked at what I was looking at on the computer, and she was like livid with me and angry and like very passionately angry with me. And I'm like, what? Why are you mad at me? It's a good song.
Devil music.
Little did I understand the song. Whole song is if nothing matters, you might as well take your life. There's no point of living. So that was implanted in my head, and she was trying to protect me. And I was so annoyed. I'm like, oh my God, shut up. Leave me alone. Let me listen to my emo music.
Yeah.
And she was literally trying to protect me. And I still allowed those things in, and it affected me all the way into my marriage.
Yeah.
All the way till now. It's something that I still go to therapy for. Still. It's something that I still am currently working through, and I have to be very open about. And we don't appreciate the people that try to protect us. Oh my God! Like we are frustrated with them, and we don't get it, and it's just a lack of perspective and a lack of submission.
Yeah.
And now that I'm an
That's
adult,
the word,
I like
submission.
Oh, I could cry right now thinking like, oh my God, I wish I listened more.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro.
Opposing guidance because we think it's inconvenient. Like at the end of the day, we didn't trust our parents. We're kids. We're not. And I know for me, I just want to do a better job than what my parents did with me and letting my son know he can trust me. And obviously, it's just two totally different generations.
And how many kids do you have?
Just one.
Let's go,
Just
bro.
one,
That's
man.
awesome.
And I just want him to know that he can trust me. He can talk to me. I was scared to talk to my mom. I felt like I couldn't talk to my mom because if I did, I'm gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, and because of that, we look at our relationship with our parents as this negative thing that everything they tell me is just their opinion and has no actual factual statement to it because we don't really realize our parents were kids once and they might know a thing or two. But, like, the way we look at guidance and the way we look at somebody really, like, trying to show us the right path, to show us a better path, and how our pride and how our ego and what we want, our selfishness, just clouds our judgment and makes us think that we want things that aren't good for us.
Oh my God.
And-
It's sin.
Yeah.
It's sin is so attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, temptation has made me do some very stupid things. My wife should have left me. Fact.
Yeah.
I have so many friends that don't have to be my friend, like because of the temptation of sin, and that sounds churchy, but it's the truth.
It's the
like
truth.
the root cause of so many of our problems is we are so easily tempted that we give into temptation, and it leads to a pattern of sin. And then you look up a year later and you're you're a porn addict, you're a sex addict, you're a shopaholic, whatever, and you can't get off of it.
Yeah.
Because of a pattern you weren't willing to address because of secrecy. When you live in secrecy and you're not accountable and you don't have covering, oh my God, it has led to bro.
We're not strong enough to do it on our own.
And even with the suicide part, bro, the only reason I'm alive is because of accountability.
Yeah.
There were so many times where I've worked with some of the greatest people on the planet. There's times where I've worked with beautiful, amazing people at church that I look up to. There's times where I've worked with people of influence. I'll give you an example. When men's conference last year, the men's conference of last year for Gateway Church, I had worked with a guy named James Lee. James Lee, I love you so much. And I pitched him. I said, hey, let me set up a podcast in y'all's green room, and I'm going to shoot it, and you guys will bring on somebody to host and interview y'all's guest.
Yeah.
So that's the first time I ever met Mike Todd. And we had Mike Todd come in. I was so excited. I was like, yes, this is going to be so good for y'all, because they weren't doing any podcast content. So it's like, Gateway, let's go with the times. You're not doing any podcast content. So let me do this for free. I want to bless you. I think it'll do really good. So we got Mike Todd on the podcast. My buddy Austin Pennington is interviewing him. And it was like a high for my career to have pulled the strings together to make that happen.
Yeah.
Dude, when I tell you I got in the car and I left, I was so depleted emotionally because I had hit such a high dopamine rush. When it was over, it was like massive crash. It's like when you drink too much alcohol.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Crash, hangover. When you have too much drugs, right? It's the same thing. You hit a wall. But I had this massive dopamine rush, and when I was in the car, I was like, it was reverting back to all those thoughts of a teenager Hector of like, I want to kill myself, which sounds so silly. It sounds so dumb, dude. But it's because I was like a dopamine addict. So when I'm hustling and I'm grinding, I'm trying to make all these cool things happen. When it's over, it was never enough, and it wasn't fulfilling or sustainable.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to rewire my brain to not be, one, a dopamine addict, and to understand that I am fulfilled in Christ, and everything that I do is enough for him, so that when I'm there, one, I'm not idolizing people or idolizing my career, and two, I'm fulfilled with everything that I'm doing for the Lord.
Yeah.
And I don't go to that, because that's my natural pattern, is to think everything's good, you hit a crash, take your life.
Yeah.
Because it sounds really stupid when you say it out loud, but that's where my brain was. And the only reason I'd get out of those holes is accountability. I can't tell you how many times I have texted the suicide hotline number in the last year, the last 3 months of this year. Bro, I am an adult. I am 25 years old. I have an amazing wife. I have an amazing church. I could call y'all at 4 a.m, and you might not be awake. I could call you sometime, and you'd answer, and you'd walk me through a hard time.
Yeah.
I have so much covering. My life is like, I am in the palm of God's hand, I feel like. I am so blessed.
Yeah.
And in the last 3 months, I've texted that suicide line many times. But it's the accountability. Like, that's what's keeping me alive, is opening my mouth. The people that are gone, they're not accountable until they write that suicide note. That's the most vulnerable they'll ever be, that suicide note, and then they're gone.
And then everybody around them is like, I had no idea.
I had no idea. It's the same thing, dude. Kurt Cobain from Nirvana. Had no idea. Always knew he was a sad guy.
Yeah.
But whatever. The lead singer from dude, it's been in culture forever. Like there's a band called Death. Hilarious. Yeah.
This dude.
But these who would have thought? Came out of nowhere.
Oh, man.
He took his life. A band named Death.
That's dark.
It's like when we're working on creative projects, man. It's like, that's why it's so important to have some accountability outside of that, because once you say it out loud, now you have people that's going to hold you accountable to it and ask you, hey, so how's that going? Hey, did you finish that song?
Did you finish that suicide note?
Yep.
Too far. Sorry.
Hey, bro, did you finish
I've had
that
2
suicide
attempts. It's
note?
okay.
No. He's like, I'm exempt. I can joke about it. But I think that there's a point to where accountability, it's what comes with it. It's like, if I ask for it, that means I have to explain why I'm asking for it. And I don't want to explain why I'm feeling the way I feel. Either one, because I don't know why I feel the way that I feel, or I'm scared of how you're going to view me once I tell you. Mm-hmm. And bro, suicide. One of my friends from high school, she killed herself, and I was at the house, and her and her brother were twins, and their dad was very abusive. He couldn't know that she was friends with me. Only Jose was my friend when I was around them. When we didn't have school, she had to go to work with him. Like, he was just very controlling. And he found out she had a boyfriend and just lost his mind. And while I'm sitting in the bedroom with Jose, as he's just venting and crying after all three of them, him, his sister, and his mom just got beat down, hear the loudest bang go off. The pictures on the walls came up, and go in, and Sandra killed herself in the bathroom.
It's terrible.
Using a plunger to pull the trigger off of a shotgun.
Oh my God, it's terrible.
You know, and it's so, the next day going to school and trying to act like nothing happened. And so many people saying, I had no idea. And there's a sense of like, one, you weren't paying attention, or two, you know, she really didn't say a lot. And on the side of us not paying attention, I think we take people for granted. And COVID messed me up, bro. It made me realize how much I took for granted, like human interaction and friends. I made phone calls that I kept telling myself to make, that I kept procrastinating on. And it made me realize that relationships matter, friendships matter. Check on your strong friends became the statement.
Check on your happy friends.
Check on all your friends.
Yeah.
Because
That's good.
at the end of the day, man, I could be friends with somebody for 10 years, man. Who knows the stuff that they're not telling me? Because I know there's things that I ain't telling my friends.
There's two sides to it, bro. There's the side of you need to be a good friend, and you need to deepen your relationship with them by having deeper communication. I grew up in the hood. There's no deep communication.
You don't talk about your feelings.
That's corny. It's
weak.
That shit is whack.
Yeah.
It's like you don't talk about that.
Yeah.
You don't talk about that. You don't talk about your feelings. You're going to man up. You can cry at the funeral of your friend that was murdered, or you lost your grandma. You can cry there, or you can cry after you lost the basketball championship.
Yeah.
At your high school game.
Yep.
But you don't cry, and you don't show emotion. So what does that mean? Does that mean that there's no deep conversations happening? So do you know how many people in those neighborhoods, like, they don't have this? This is not normal. No one teaches them this. Granted, they have TikTok now, and there's a lot of podcast clips that go around, and that's altering their brain psyche, and they're like, okay, this is cool. Like, they can watch it on a screen, and hopefully that instills hope, and that can change their lifestyle and will help them for the better. But in neighborhoods like that, it's not normal. And it's not normal in South Lake, Texas, where rich tech dad is gone half the year. He brings $2 million a year home, and soccer mom influencer is just on her phone all day. So
Yeah.
the 14-year-old girl is like, well, I'm gonna sleep around to get validation.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to open up and be integral. And I live a life of lies because my parents do. I don't know anything about my parents.
Yeah.
So there's two sides to it on the suicide part, or even just going through a hard time. It doesn't need to be as extreme as putting a gun to your head and pulling the trigger. There's so many people that don't even know who you are because you didn't ask them anything about who they are.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how many times are you around people and they don't ask you one question? They just keep talking and talking and talking and about nothing. It is exhausting to be around because I desire deep communication.
Yeah.
I want to know who you are. I want to give you a hug. I want to know everything about you, and then I'm going to tell you about me, and we can connect.
Yeah.
But for so many, for the average person, that is not normal. This is the underground. I promise you this is the underground.
Yeah.
Go to any bar. Go to a Deep Ellum bar right now. 5 minutes right there. No one's talking about anything. They're having their cocktails and they're going to drink till 3 a.m. But no one's living a life of integrity or talking or openly talking about their struggle.
Yeah.
It's not normal.
Yeah.
So to me, this creating online content is so important because you're able to be a template for people and you can show them this is normal.
Yeah.
And I do think that's what's really cool for Gen Z and the kids after them is they are getting to watch podcast clips. That sounds so odd and like a small solution, but
It's major.
I think I think the internet is so powerful and it's going to help so many people. Obviously, anything's going to hurt somebody, so there's that whole side of it. But it is teaching kids that there's a lot of hope out there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Because when I was in high school, we had it. It was mostly one, but then we got two.
MySpace?
Facebook came out, but MySpace was it.
Oh my God, I loved MySpace.
That came in, and it was just like, bro, today, Instagram, I remember when it came out the fall after I graduated high school. And I look back to then and seeing how MySpace ruled our lives. Yep. Everybody was pissed about your top 5, your top 10, your top 20. You had to put top 50 so nobody was pissed.
MySpace taught people how to code.
Yeah,
because you would change your background,
and
you would
players,
your music player, and you'd add everything. Dude,
Yeah.
we were all little tech coders back
Bro,
then.
I think our generation is paving the way for everybody else to be transparent, and that it's okay to be transparent because we were tired of our parents lying to us.
What do you
Like,
mean by lying to us? Like
Bro,
specifically?
you know how many family secrets I had
Yeah,
no
that is
idea
true.
about?
That is true.
It wasn't until I got older and started asking questions. But when I was younger, I would ask questions, but I would just accept the answers that they gave me. Stay out of grown folks' business.
Yeah.
You know how many parents have lived a deceptive life and taught that to their kids?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm all about protecting your children. My mom protected me from Metallica.
Yeah.
Which led me to think about suicidal ideation. She was protecting me. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But there's so many times where, even though they're not technically lying to us, there's so many parents and grown adults who are being deceptive to children because they think they're protecting them.
Yeah.
You need to be vulnerable with that kid.
Yeah.
And not in a creepy way and not in a way that's going to exploit them or be emotionally abusive. None of that.
Yep.
But you need to walk with them.
Yep.
And then it just goes vice versa where the parents are deceptive and then they wonder, man, why isn't my 14-year-old opening up to me? I try to talk to them, but they won't open up to me.
I don't trust you.
It's this whole cycle that starts at a young age, man, when you're withholding truth from them.
Yeah.
And you need to walk with them through it carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Don't exploit them.
Yeah.
But walk with them carefully. But that's also the dangerous part of how powerful the internet is. Oh my God, I've seen some evil things on the internet because you get curious and you search and you get on the black web.
Yeah.
Terrifying stuff is out there. But what you're saying is, I do agree that we are a template of transparency for a lot of young people. And there's so many people who have access to so much good information now. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Now it's really just kids are always going to do bad things, but the assignment and the mantle that we have as online creators is very important.
So that's a good segue for where we're about to go next.
Oh, let's hit it.
What are some struggles as a man that you experience in the creative world?
In the creative world?
As a man.
As a man?
So what are some struggles as a man that you struggle or experience with in the creative world?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and we are. Please tell me your name again. D is amazing, y'all. She needs to. You need it. You're on the podcast, right? Okay, praise God. She's a beast, bro. I hear the typing and I hear the thoughts, everything. You are a beast.
Yeah, she is.
Well, we are in a not hilarious. We're in a wild time right now where the universe and the globe was dominated by men for so long. Now we're in a world where so many women are stepping into leadership roles and they're becoming influencers and their voice has so much weight to it. It's very cool to see both genders doing their thing and what God created them to do. I think that's very cool. As for a man though, like my struggles, The only thing I've struggled with on the real is the more influence I've gotten, the more my life has been in the light. So if I cheat on my wife, everybody's going to know.
Yeah.
That is a real thought.
Yeah.
One of my biggest struggles in my life is sex addiction, food addiction, and not self-harming. I don't cut myself, but the ideation of suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Those are three of the biggest struggles that I'm continuing to work through. I'm not fully on the other side of a full healing. I'm still like in surgery. I'm in therapy. I'm working through so much.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lifelong thing too that I'm gonna work through. But the biggest struggle as a creative is the more influence I've gotten is I don't want to ruin my marriage and I don't want to ruin my integrity.
Yeah.
I promise you that's the main thing. Any other creative or entrepreneur, they'll probably tell you their struggle is trying to make it, trying to stay relevant, all of those things. Those things are, I understand, that is a big weight, but it's not our job to stay relevant. Our job is to just do what God has called us to do. My job is called to be a man of integrity and lead my household well. Mm-hmm. That's why I believe everything in my life at 25 is working out so well. I produce one of the best podcasts on the planet that is thriving in the span of 8 months. We've gone from 0 to 219,000 subscribers, and my DMs flood every single day with how the content is changing their life, and the big fear now is my life is in the limelight and it's on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And I need to watch what I say, not to be afraid of cancel culture, but because my words have weight now.
Yeah.
I need to watch what I say. I need to watch how I act, because I act a fool. Obviously, I started off this podcast by calling myself an immigrant and saying the cartel brought me over here. I am not an immigrant, and the cartel, please leave me alone. But I fool around a lot because it's just my personality. I'm a jokester, but I do have to be careful with the things I say because I am loud. And my wife's an introvert, and I give her a panic attacks when we're out in public because I'm so loud and obnoxious and stupid. And I knew life got really weird. Again, if we're talking in secular terms, and if I'm just talking very objectively, I am a micro influencer. I'm a part of a cool podcast. I produce it. That's how I am in the world's eyes. That's what it is, right? But the level of influence is so wildly vast. I was at Burger House in Dallas, the original one. It's tiny, it's puny, it's a closet. It's so cute. The foundation is sideways. It's like the building's falling apart, but they make good burgers. And I'm talking to my wife, I'm in line, and someone turns around, they're like, oh my God, Hector from the basement? I'm not the host.
It was a laugh, wasn't it?
I'm not even a co-host. I'm a producer. And he did say, he's like, dude, I love your laugh. But my wife, we talked to them, I hugged them, we talked for a hot minute. But when we got in the car, my wife was like, I hated every minute of that. My wife's an introvert. It's not a bad thing. But that's when we both realized that if you're going to make content online and you're willing to put yourself out here, you need to be okay that you're giving up all your privacy. You can live a life of privacy, and you can take your family on vacation and not post about it. That's cool. But people want to know everything about you now.
Yeah.
How has she transitioned into that?
Say again?
Has she transitioned fully into that yet, or she's slowly getting there?
She's still struggling with it. It's more laughable now to her because everywhere we go, I most of the time run into somebody that knows who I am.
Yeah.
And my wife will laugh about it now, but as an introvert, she hates it.
Yeah.
She still hates it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, the word you said was wait. And dude, I cannot imagine, like you said, the way y'all have been able to grow in the last 8 months it's insane. It's unheard of. It beats every algorithm. It beats every form of statistic or theory of how to grow your platform. It is genuinely God's work, right? And it seemed like overnight your life changed. And now there's a level of stewardship that you have to obtain with this new platform.
That's good.
Because now, like you said, people are watching, and they're not only watching to see what you're doing, they're watching to ruin
There's
what you're
people
doing.
You are a shepherd now. You have little lambs
Yeah.
that you need to take care of. There's going to be people who are going to criticize you. There's going to be people that are fed by you, and the people that are being fed by you rely on you.
Yeah.
And doesn't mean that you're their God and you have to take care of them and baby them, but your words impact them.
Yeah.
So what you say matters.
Yeah.
So you need to mean what you say, and only say what you mean.
Yes.
And that's the problem I had my whole life. I was so sarcastic. I did not realize how much it was affecting my life. Oh my God, I can't tell you how many times I've pissed off my wife playing sarcasm and being a jokester. That's like I was a child talking to my wife sometimes, and the way I would react, and I try to play everything off as a joke. It's just a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now I am transitioning now into I feel like I feel like I've always been a young man. I feel like I'm becoming a man now. I don't have kids yet. I know that's going to be like the full blown, like, there's the lights. Praise God, brother. Look at that buildings in the screen though.
You know what I'm saying?
Cute. Hello.
8. Yeah.
No.
8.
Just hit it once.
Ladies and gentlemen, the lights have turned off.
Just
if
hit
you're
it.
an
Just
audio
tap it.
listener,
Don't hold it.
God's
See,
kids.
if I get up and walk over there and hit number 8 and it comes on, we gonna fight.
I believe in you, sister.
There we go.
God's kids.
Goofy, bro.
God.
So I know that there's a level of how many times you press that button? Cap. Anyways, I think that there's like, man, there's so much I want to say, but I'll start off by saying this. What y'all are doing is so important to not only the creative space, but just believers in general.
For the culture, man.
Like culture.
It's in the culture,
Because
bro.
I have been, just me personally, I have been so lost and confused because I feel like I'm in a room with people who just don't pass the vibe. I feel like everything's a lie. I feel like everything people are saying is a front. I feel like everything is a tagline, a mission statement, or a one-off.
You're talking about these green room pastors,
Nah,
what you're
for
talking
real.
about.
It's like, yo, dude.
You're talking about them youth pastor green room pastors that are trying to get in that conference lineup.
bro.
Oh yeah, 1000%.
They're trying to get
like,
that check.
Those my
it's
favorite
like,
ones, man.
Nah, bro, because it's like, dude, at the end of the day, I don't care about this cookie cutter response. Like, tell me that real.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Don't talk to me nice, bro. Like, talk to me about this real life shit that's going on, because I don't want to hear all that back and forth nonsense of, oh man, if you just keep your head in the game. Like, at the end of the day, that's not gonna get me to where I'm going.
Yep.
And the level of transparency and the level of honesty that you guys move into. I mean, transparency is a core value for y'all's platform.
And vulnerability.
And it's like, I don't care if you like what I'm saying, but I'm going to say it because there's value in what I'm saying. And it created this notion that, hey, like, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm okay. And this is my journey. And that's okay. And that's cool. Because now I've never heard a pastor talk the way Tim talks. I've never heard a pastor talk like that ever in my life. And it is a game changer. It's a culture shift. And that's why so many people find so much value in y'all's content.
It's that authenticity, man.
Because
So
we,
real.
for the last however many years, we've just been consuming a bunch of surface level content. And I feel like now people who a year ago would hate watching people talk about God and what it does in their life, I feel like now people are so broken and people are so tired of just surface level relationships and surface level spirituality and praying to freaking rocks and being like, there's gotta be something more out there. And y'all are showing them what that more is and that it doesn't discriminate and it doesn't give a to-do list on what you need to do in order to be a part of what we're doing here. It's like, yeah, you don't need to, yeah, you got a potty mouth, all good, pull up. Hey, you struggling with sex addiction? It's all right, pull up. Hey, you struggling with alcohol? Hey, it's cool.
Everyone's coming through.
Pull up.
Everyone's coming through.
Y'all are the ultimate definition of, I don't care, pull up. All good.
Yeah.
We got to see for everybody. And because of that, I think it's doing such wonders for the kingdom because, bro, the church has gone through so much nonsense in the last few years with scandals, like pastors cheating on their wives, money, all this is just nonsense, bro. Nonsense. People not stewarding their platform.
Yeah.
And it is destroying what we're trying to preach to people who need it. We have a reputation that is being destroyed by white evangelicals, that is being destroyed by greed, that is being destroyed by lack of discipline, and that's starting to mend because we got so many examples of terrible pastors.
And I love them. I love you, you idiot. Stop cheating on your wife,
Nah, for real.
you idiot.
It's
Please stop
like-
cheating on your wife.
We have so many bad examples. I think it's time that we start putting good examples on the forefront, and y'all are leading the charge.
Thank you,
I told you on Instagram when I made that post and tagged you in it, like, bro, I feel like gatekeeping stops with you guys. Like the fact that you were even willing to come sit down and chop it with us, bro.
I was telling you YouTube analytics at the bar.
Yeah.
I'm making a cocktail for somebody,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you how many impressions we got this month.
Yeah.
'Cause we're not gonna-
what you did in order to like.
We're
yeah.
not going to gatekeep anything. We're going to give the knowledge and anything that we have to offer to help the people that God has called to the online platform. We're in a niche space. We make online content that's reaching a lot of people, and those people, it's chain reaction.
Yeah.
They're going to lead the people that's under them, whether they're a teacher, a police officer, whatever they do. What we say is important because they're taking it home and it's affecting their life.
Yeah.
So, dude, I love what you said. That we've seen this past wave of so many scandals. It was just back to back. So many people cheated on their spouses, and they use ministry funds to fund their sex lifestyle and take exotic trips and do all this terrible stuff. I love you, and you need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Because you're living up to your stereotype because this is how we see you now. And the basement is just a template to show people that you're allowed to talk about with your struggle.
Yeah.
You cheated on your wife? Okay. Well, let's talk about it. Let's not have it be a cycle that's going to be 10 years and now you've used $80,000 from your nonprofit church and you've had an affair with 7 different women and you're on your second marriage and your whole family's life is destroyed. At least their online life is destroyed and they can't be on social media anymore and their kids want to kill themselves because everyone makes fun of them at their high school that their pastor dad cheated on their mom.
Yeah.
So we just give space for people to know that you can tell us your struggle and we're not going to run away.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't run away if you want to run away. Like, run away if they're being domestically abusive.
Yeah.
Or actively cheating on you and with no remorse. Run, sister or brother.
Yeah.
Please run. But for the things that can be mended and we can work out, we're going to be open and transparent and we're going to teach people that it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at the fruit of people who cheat on their spouse, of people who misuse their organization's money and live a scandalous life. That's just fruit of not having accountability and being honest.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
If they knew that they could open up, they would. But in their mind, there's a belief that if I open up, you're going to run away from me. If I open up, I'm going to lose everything.
Yeah.
Please open up.
Yeah.
It's going to fix everything
Yeah.
before it gets terrible.
Yeah. It's prioritizing the wrong things. It's like,
How would you attempt to break that stigma, though?
What are you talking about?
How would you attempt to break that stigma of breaking down?
How to break it down?
Mm-hmm. Like, how would you, as a creative, attempt to break that down?
You need to find you need to find a safe space to talk to somebody. Does that kind of answer it a little bit? Yeah, you need to find a safe place to talk to somebody about it. And a safe place looks like a trusted friend. And a safe place, if you're married, looks like your spouse. That's the safest place you can go to.
Yeah.
And you need to get people involved to get you help. You can't do it alone. If you cheated on your wife, you and your wife can't just heal together. You need to get a counselor, and you need to have friends that are going to walk with you through it. You need to be open about everything.
Yeah.
You have to be. There's a few things you can, there's a few things in your life you can keep to yourself if you don't feel led to open up about. There's some things in my marriage that are between me and my wife and our future kids. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah.
Not going to be open to the public. Wife's not comfortable with it. Cool. Or vice versa. I'm not comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Cool. But if there's anything scandalous, you will find out from me first before anyone is going to call me out.
Yeah.
So you need to find a safe place before you lead yourself to disaster.
Yeah, y'all, man, the thing that y'all released last week, man, when y'all were talking about abuse and speaking up, and bro, y'all are pioneering something. Bro, y'all are pioneering conversations.
Look, bro, I am not inspired by, back to your green room pastors and that's the spiritual term, the corporate guys, like in the tech world, whatever. I am not inspired by what people say. I am inspired by the life that they live. Yeah. If I see 10 disciples behind you and you invest into people's life and you care about them and you are leading them, that's inspiring. Yeah. Not your Twitter statement. Do you know how many people are trying to be fake Mike Todds? It's embarrassing. You know how many people are trying to be Gary Vee? Yeah. It is embarrassing. Now, there's some people who look up to them. I look up to both of those guys. Yeah. But I'm going to be who God created me to be, and I'm also going to live a life of integrity and have disciples behind me, and I'm going to serve my city, and I'm going to do great things for the kingdom of God. Yeah. If I'm trying to copy and paste and be someone I'm not, it's one of the wackest things you could do. Yeah. Yeah.
So one thing, bro, that sticks out to me is like your heart, bro. And obviously, bro, before we wrap, I want to talk about how you got involved with the basement and Tim. And, you posted something not too long ago. You were talking about how people, as creatives, you need to be willing to do things for free. Mm-hmm. And there's a season of paying your dues and a season of serving your community. And I think, I hear that a lot, but I think you are a really good example of what that does. Yeah. Like you said, you were saying earlier how you just told them like, hey, I'll do this for free, bro. Like, let's just get this going. Yeah, bro. Because your heart is to serve first.
Dude, before I got here, one of my favorite things to do before I do something creative or whatever, I like to make an Instagram post because I'm still like low-key a recovering dopamine addict. So I like to do something really cool and randomly I'll check and I'll see that it's doing well and it gives me like the best dopamine rush ever. Yeah. But literally the post that I made today was, it's a carousel and it says integrity opened doors for me, not my sales pitch. Generosity put more in my pockets, talking about money. Generosity put more in my pockets, not my poverty mindset. So like you have to put in the work and the reps to be able to do something influential and that's going to reach a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I know so many people that have been in my life that lived a lifestyle of save every penny or save their time and their gift and not be generous with it. Yeah. I have been generous since I was in high school with the gift that God has given me, which is my creativity. It has led to the biggest checks of my life financially, and it's led to some of the most beautiful relationships I could have never imagined having. Yeah. And the basement was birthed out of a podcast I felt led to start with my co-producer, Sam Byers, called Foundational Podcast. Hilarious enough. Feels poetic with the basement. But I called Sam at the beginning or the end of 2021 in December. I was in Pennsylvania, and I was in a basement, which is hilarious. I was in a basement in Pennsylvania in the middle of nowhere, Boiling Springs, Pennsylvania. I'm the only brown person in that city. The only other brown kid's adopted. So like we're both crawling out there. I called Sam, and I didn't know he was going through one of the hardest times of his life ever. And he was going through something so tough and so heartbreaking. And I told him, I was like, hey man, I feel like I'm supposed to make content with you. I never tell people that because I don't trust anybody for the most part when it comes to people who make commitments. I'm just very careful with who I work with. And I felt led to call him and say, I want to work with you. And I said, hey, let's make a podcast. Let's make some cool content. So we made content for a month and a half, and it was doing great. There were some clips on TikTok that got over 1 million, and the engagement was great, and it was doing really good. And it's like, okay, well, we can scale this, and it's probably going to do really well. We're all across all platforms. It's received really well. It's doing great. And then I have a friend named JB Copeland, who is a giant Viking in 4 times my height and 400 pounds and gorgeous. And he's like, I want to start a podcast. He's like, I want to interview Tim Ross. I said, okay, let's get it. But the week before he set it up to interview Tim Ross, he wanted to go. He had someone who was down to do an interview. This cat named Elijah Lamb, Christian influencer guy that works with EOSU. He's based out of Los Angeles.
Gotcha.
JB ain't got no money. Sam Byers ain't got no money. I have money because I've been bartending and I started my video business. I said, well, I am adventurous. So I bought my flight, I bought Sam's flight, and I got our hotel in, not our hotel, our Airbnb out in Orange, California, which is like an hour out of Los Angeles. And I paid for everything, that entire trip for everybody, right? Food, accommodations. I paid for the studio that we used. And we interviewed this kid named Elijah Lamb. But I felt led to do it. Now, I didn't want anything from JB. I wasn't thinking like, I'm going to invest into him and he's going to be a star and we're going to make so much money together. Bro, I just felt led to do it.
Yeah.
And that podcast, they're not doing a podcast anymore, right? I could look back on that and look at it as like, oh my God, I wasted all that money.
It's a loss, yeah.
Oh my God, we did all this and we traveled and I paid for it and blah, blah, blah. Bro, out of that generosity and faithfulness led me to that room with Tim Ross. Because JB, the week after the Los Angeles trip, we set up for JB to interview Tim. It was a beautiful interview. Tim was, they did a 2-hour plus interview, and the business side of me says, okay, you need to do this very excellent. The generous side is we're gonna do this for free. I lost money in the Los Angeles trip, quote unquote secular terms. I lost money there, and I lost money on the Tim Ross day. I'm out $700. I'm going to pay Sam because I'm gonna pay my creatives. You'll never catch me not paying for a creative, even if they want to bless me with their free work. I'm gonna bless them. I paid Sam $250 just to be there and be there, be my support, and then just clip it together later. I rented cameras from my friend Jay Martin last minute. He dropped the cameras off at Embassy City, Tim's church, like 30 minutes before Tim arrived. And I'm like, we need to crush this. We need to make this the best it can be. And we did that. I told Sam, I was like, hey, bro, I need you to edit this podcast tonight. And I told JB, and we need to post this on YouTube the next day. Just trust me, you got to go with the wave. This is some Wall Street stuff right here. Yeah. We got to we have to make it the best feeling possible for everybody. So they crushed the interview. I emailed Tim's assistant, and I didn't give him a sales pitch. I didn't give him no numbers. I just said, hey, if Tim needs anything, just hit me up. I did not want to sell myself to him. So if he needs anything, just let me know. I got him. Me and Sam got an email from his assistant saying, hey, Tim wants to meet up with y'all. Come through, like the next week. So these are just events of generosity that led to a door opening to me. One, if we're talking in secular terms, one of the biggest checks of my life. Yeah. Ongoing check, because the podcast keeps doing better. Yeah. Right? It's great. I lost a bunch of money. I gained it 1 million times back.
Yeah.
And now I have some of the best friends I've ever had in my life that I get to work with full time now. And Tim is Tim is the most generous human being that I know. So, yeah, out of generosity birthed everything that God opened for me.
Yeah. So what's next, bro? What's next for Hector?
Bro, I'm sweating. Please ignore me.
He said AC.
Y'all need to turn off these Sony FX3s and get Sony A7 IIs to blur my sweat, bro. What's next is we're going to continue to build the Basement Podcast, and we're going to build Upset the World, which is Tim's company, Upset the World LLC. And right now, me and Sam are working. I think this is the first time I ever talked about this openly. Okay, well, I hope it works out.
Exclusive.
Tim has talked about it on the Basement. He said, I feel like I'm called to be an executive producer.
Yeah.
So my DMs have been blowing up for like, do you have a course? Do you have like a podcast? Can we pay for you to consult on how to do a podcast? Because just of the success of the Basement, I'm like, I don't have time for any of those things. Nor do I have a passion to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I talked to Sam about it when we took a trip out to Utah together as a Basement crew, and then I was like, hey, I feel like we're supposed to do something. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a course. Kind of don't even. I hate that. It feels weird. Feels grimy.
Valuable.
And I don't know if I'm supposed to do a podcast because that's a big mantle. It's not light work. So we let it sit for about a month, just the thought, and then I bring it up to Tim. I said, hey, Tim, I want to be submitted to you. I want to be undercovering. So what do you think? Should we do like a course? Should we do this, blah, blah, blah? He's like, no, I'm going to produce y'all's podcast. So the next thing we'll be working on, it will be a creative podcast under the umbrella of Upset the World.
That's dope.
So it'll be Upset the World presents whatever the creative podcast name is. And it'll be hosted by me and Sam.
That's dope.
And we talk all things creative. We talk all things. It's this, but it's just me and Sam. Yeah. Everything y'all are doing is what we're gonna do.
That's awesome.
And it'll be sponsored by Upset the World. And who would have thought, bro? Like we started that. I felt like I was supposed to start that podcast with Sam at the end of 2021. We called it Foundational, which is the foundation that holds everything. I'm supposed to lay that down as things are getting better. I lay it down to help Tim build his platform, which skyrockets and now is reaching millions of people, 90 million impressions on YouTube as of today. I laid it down, and now God this year is saying, hey, I didn't tell you to start that for no reason.
Yeah.
And you're undercovering.
Yeah.
And it's going to be covered by Tim.
Yeah.
So it was just this poetic, beautiful journey of listening and taking action when the Holy Spirit nudged us, laying it down when the time demanded it, so that we could honor the season we were in, and now picking back up and doing everything God called us to do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we are, bro.
Dope, bro.
Yeah, we're in no rush. I'm in no rush, bro. I'm not trying to hustle. I'm not trying to be a millionaire. I'm not trying to chase anything. I'm just being obedient.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what has fast-tracked my life
to
way cooler things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Things become way easier.
So that's it, bro.
Bro, I would love to have you a part of our documentary, bro.
You doing documentary?
And Sam. Yeah.
You doing documentary?
Yeah. Actually, I did this documentary in 2016 when I was living in Los Angeles, and we're redoing it at a bigger scale.
Let's go, bro.
It's about 52. Obviously, I told you World's Lonely as well. And we're interviewing people all across the industry.
Awesome.
DeMarcus Lawrence from the Cowboys. We're getting connected. We're hoping we can lock in good old Lenny Kravitz. Talking with Denzel's people.
Let's go, dude.
And just sitting down and talking about the truth of being a believer.
You just go straight up say Denzel,
That's right. I
Man
have to
on
talk to you
Fire.
about it. So I haven't updated Fiji. Damari ain't know, but yeah. So we're
excited
talking,
right now.
We're sitting down and we're talking with prominent people from around the industry and the space, bro.
It's
and
awesome,
creatives,
dude.
And talking about, being a believer in this industry and not compromising. What does compromise look like? And despite it not being popular, like, we're not called to do what's popular. We're called to do what's righteous. And that's being followers of him.
Get that on a shirt.
That was actually a bar.
Get that on a shirt.
That was a bar.
Yeah, get that on a shirt.
So
Throw it on a
we'll-
carousel
bro,
on IG. That's awesome.
We'd love to have you and Sam on it.
Get us on it, bro. Get the whole basement in there.
Hey,
I'm an encourager. So when I encourage people, it's real. Most of the time,
yeah,
some people do not receive it because they are like, that is not my love language, and you're being super fake.
yeah,
What y'all are doing is very important. Please keep doing it. In 6 months, you're probably going to want to give up if it's not doing great. Who gives a damn? Please keep doing it. If God has called you to do this thing, do it well.
yeah.
Do it excellently. I can't tell you how many people I've seen step into the online space and they last a month. And it's like, bro, if God actually called you and you stopped because the numbers weren't great, your heart's in the wrong place. And two, you missed out on reaching a lot of people that needed to hear your voice.
Yeah.
Not saying you're God and you're the idol that people need, but God wanted to use you.
Yeah.
God's still going to reach that person, but God wanted to use you. You were in that will. So what y'all are doing is so important. I really believe in it, and we need more of it.
Yeah.
It can't just be the basement. This is the part of culture where there's a massive shift when it's not just the main cat like Tim talking. It's a multitude of people doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That's punk rock. That's the 80s.
Yeah.
That's hip hop coming out of the 70s. Like, it's what changes the planet, dude.
Yeah.
And we're just talking about being open, honest, and transparent. This is the new wave, dude. I'm telling you, this is the entire new wave that's going to change the planet.
This revamp is I am a product of what the basement has done in the last 8 months. 52 has been a thing for 7 years,
dude.
bro. And this revamp and this relaunch and redoing this documentary, the podcast getting away from trying to be gossip podcast and just talk about realness.
Yeah, bro.
You know, this is all because of y'all's hard work and y'all doing y'all's due diligence and making sure that y'all are stewarding y'all's platform and being honest with it. And I'm a product of that. I know they're a product of it. I know so many people who are products of it, and they're elevating their platform and their gifts because
crazy.
of y'all's yes.
It's crazy.
And because of your sacrifice of not chasing a paycheck and saying, Tim, whatever you need, I got you. You, Sam, JB, and Tim are doing things that are changing. Y'all are changing something in creatives, specifically creatives who are believers around the country and around the world, and I'm one of them.
I love you, bro.
I love you, bro, and I appreciate you.
I love you a lot. But also get your paycheck.
Yeah, don't do anything for
if
free.
you're
It's
entitled
Such a
to
thin line.
if you're entitled to your paycheck, get your paycheck.
Hey.
And charge accordingly.
Discernment, man.
Charge accordingly.
Discernment. Sometimes God's gonna tell you to do something. He's gonna tell you to serve, and when He does, just listen, be obedient. He's gonna bring it back to you tenfold.
And you're getting and client, you are getting that invoice.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sending the invoice.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Don't think Tim got the special. That you ain't gonna get the invoice.
Said you look at that.
You thought you was the basement?
I'm sending the invoice to the firehouse committee.
I'm expecting the invoice from Hector tonight.
God's kids.
Man, I appreciate you coming through, bro.
Love you, bro.
Love you, bro. Everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you follow us on IG at 52 Dallas. I'll also put my guy's stuff here as well so you can follow him and keep up with him. Obviously, if you ain't on the basement and you ain't on what Hector's doing and what Sam and all those guys are doing, you're missing out. Make sure you go over there and hit those guys up. It will change your life. It's changed mine. We love you. Send nothing but peace, love, positivity, and extra creativity your way. We love you. Peace.
God's kids.